So we are looking at a budget coming up next Monday and what the Forum are actually looking to see from the government and from the Chancellor at that budget. And there's 6 key areas really. The first one is something that the government hasn't done a lot about, which is the retail sector. We've all seen the number of empty shops on high streets. The government's done its industrial strategy, but it hasn't included the retail sector. Now, sure, some of the decline is caused by the online retailers, but we feel there's a lot more that you can do on the high streets. There's some areas and some towns that are making it work. And that should be a conversation that's going on and planning and what the future high street looks like. So the fact that the government's ignoring that so far is a problem for us, and we think it's something that they should be addressing. So number one is looking at the retail sector, and we'd like to see something about that in the budget. Within that is also the pubs. We've seen a decline in pubs. The pubs code came in 3 years ago. 18 pubs a week were closing. The latest figures up to September now have 33 pubs a week closing, so nearly 100% increase, and that's a big issue, and that's again part of the high street. The biggie really for us is late payment. The Chancellor said in his statement back in March that he was going to look at this. We know that there's a huge amount of money being tied up in late payment, particularly big companies not paying smaller suppliers. That has a huge knock-on impact to the economy because there's a knockdown effect. The smaller guys then can't afford to pay their suppliers. It causes people stress. There's health issues with it. And the cash flow is really the lifeblood of small business. And without looking at late payment, many businesses are getting into trouble and going under. So we fully expect Philip Hammond to be delivering on his promise and doing something in the budget looking at late payment. And then there are 3 other areas that we'd really like them to look at. One is tax. We've said it before and we'll say it again. The tax system is far too complicated in this country. The tax code is too big, and they really need to look at addressing that. Skills is still a big area of making sure we've got the right workforce with the right skills, particularly for the small business sector, and we're still not convinced that that's being achieved, and we'd like it to be. And last but not least is this idea of a balanced economy. We saw the problems that we had, heavy weighting of business in London, and if you're in the south doing very well, but in the north getting less help, less support. The Northern Powerhouse has great promise, as does the Midlands Engine, but we'd like to see more around that and a bigger balancing of the economy. And as a start point of that, why doesn't government move some of its departments out of Westminster and London and into the regions and the north? And it makes sense to us, and we'd like to see that happen. And again, a focus on infrastructure around that. We've seen all the problems with Northern Rail and trains and roads. They really need to be investing more in the north and balancing the economy more. If the Chancellor manages to address all of those 6 things on Monday, we at the Forum will be delighted. We'll wait and see what happens.